When the lawyer looked at his record, the lawyer said, boy, he really doesn't have much of a record, for his age. Like, they were saying he's a criminal. He said he doesn't really have much of a record. He really didn't get arrested, really, He got arrested one time. The case was the wrong case. He beat the case or whatever, maybe the 60s or 50s. He never really been in trouble. He really never been in trouble. It looked like a violation, but that's not a new crime. Parole has their own laws, and you can't even fight them with the best lawyers or whatever. You can't fight them. So, I mean, I hate to, I'm bringing this up to you. I know it's sore, whatever, but I have to bring this up to you. I don't think you had multiple choices in your life that you could have went back and changed things or whatever. I really don't think that, because I have the same life as you. Maybe on a smaller version, only 19 years, not 50. But I had my mother fucking stab me in the fucking back and lie, and your son lied. Son lied about him. He didn't even do nothing this time. And fucking, I tell you the truth, I want to say this, like, it might fucking offend him. Me personally, I mean, I would like to see his son come and see him. That was his favorite son. That was his favorite son. He was a good friend of mine too, but the drugs fucked him up. If he changed his whole attitude and everything, it was really humble, I would say maybe he should, whatever. The only way I could contact him is if he told me. I would say, over here, John, give me a call or something like that. Second of all, like, I want to say, I don't know much about Michael, but I know you. I've known whatever. I've never seen him do anything wrong. I've never seen him talk about a crime, nothing or whatever. They bring up stuff, the newspapers 50 years ago. Now, Michael says stuff on TV like, my father was out for himself. He didn't care about the family and stuff like that. I think that he should have a voice and that nobody should fucking talk for him or whatever. But that's up to him, It wasn't right what the government did to him. I mean, even after they gave him the 50 years, he did 11, 12 years. I mean, that was enough, man. That. But they kept putting him in jail till he did 40 fucking years on that, like, whatever. He had kids to raise and everything. He used to work, when I met him, he used to work in a, Mazda dealership or Nissan, Mazda. He had a car dealership. He used to go to work with his wife every day. That's how I met him. Him and his wife would go to work in one car. And me and the daughter, we would take his car out joyriding. And then one day he caught us and I ran home. And the daughter said, don't worry, he's not going to do anything to you. But I see stuff in the newspaper and stuff like that. I said, oh my God, I'm going to end up in the fucking river or the fucking local pond for taking this guy's fucking car, And I even told my stepfather, he said, out of all the people's cars you could take, you had to take Sonny's car. I said, I was just joyriding. But then it was nothing, like, it was nothing. He was a kind guy, whatever, Like, nobody's ever seen that side of him or whatever. Even at his trial, when he, after he was sentenced, I cursed out the judge, I cursed out the prosecutor. I told him, I said, I'm going to get you out of jail if I have to go to the president. They kicked me out of the courtroom. When I said the president, they said to me, are you on medication or whatever? They kicked me out. I ended up on 1010 News, fighting for him on 1010 News with Juliet Papa live. I mean, for weeks, people would come up to me, hear my voice, and say, hey, you're the guy that really stuck up for that old guy. I said, yeah, I stuck up for him. Nobody else stuck up for him, so I stuck up for him. Listen, first of all, I want to tell you one thing. Without lying, whatever, it's easy for me to put myself in someone else's shoes, believe me. Not everybody has compassion or cares about the next person. It doesn't matter if it's your family, your neighbor. Not everybody's like that. He's like that, I'm like that, you're like that. Even when I come here, like that woman, nobody visits her. I give her a few donuts or whatever, some say hello, or pizza or whatever. But not people are like that. So I knew that your family had a lot of money, had fancy cars, everything at one time. And they kept putting you in jail, and life wasn't that good anymore. So I was always generous to your daughter, Gia. I took her out clothes shopping and this and that. I used to take her, pick her up. His daughter used to work in a camp for disabled kids, and she would, whatever little money they gave her, she spent it back on the kids. She would, So I was always generous, always nice, always protective over her. Had I not gone to fucking jail, she would be alive, believe me. Your daughter called me up one time and said, Greg, I'm having a problem with this guy in the gas station. He was just like, he seen his daughter, her eyes lit up, and he didn't, assault her or anything, but she felt very uncomfortable, and he said some things that were off color. I hit this guy with a shot. I hit this guy with a punch that broke his nose and gave him like 20 stitches. And ironically, his mother and my mother were best friends. I didn't know that. And my mother said, would you believe these fucking bastards, a hit and run driver hit this fucking guy. He was in his friend's car and he broke his nose or whatever. There was blood. Or your daughter said to me, there was so much blood on the window that she said to me, this looks like the movie Scarface. So I was always very protective over her, whatever. And I mean, don't get me wrong, his daughter could fight too. But for whatever reason, she always called me. That's how I knew her in school. There was a guy, they had a school store with candy and stuff like that. And she didn't like to wait online. It wasn't because she thought she was better than anybody, but she didn't have the patience. So one day this guy gave her a good dressing down and embarrassed her and wouldn't let her cut the line. So she says, I want you to beat this guy up, you're a boxer. So I always listened to her. I don't know why. I went out, the whole school was out there. I hit the guy, broke his jaw, got suspended from school, And I'm just saying, I'm not lying to you, I was always friendly to John, but not like your daughter. We weren't always on the same wavelength. He might knock on my door late at night or something like that, and I can't be involved in that, or something. But I was always good to him. Even when he didn't have clothes, I took him to Nemo's, I took him to places, got his hair cut, bought him cigarettes, whatever. It might sound like nothing. I'm not a multi-millionaire like Michael or somebody, whatever. Like, I've been a small guy my whole life, cutting cold cuts, driving a cab, fucking digging holes, stuff like that. But I'm a loyal person,